The Beyond the Fame podcast is fed by Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza never cuts corners. For menu and locations, visit LidoPizza.com. And of course, this podcast would not be possible without our longtime title sponsor, the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. September entertainment includes Kenny G on September 5th and One Night of Queen on September 6th. Details and tickets at HollywoodCasinoCharlestown.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Comedian Sam Jay cracks up the DC Improv in Washington, D.C. this Friday and Saturday nights. She joined me to preview the stand-up shows and reflect on her comedy career from Saturday Night Live to the roast of Tom Brady. Hey, Sam Jay. Hey, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm doing really well, especially now we're on with the hilarious comedian Sam Jay. You'll be performing stand-up at the DC Improv, legendary spot here in the nation's capital on September 5th and 6th. Are you a DC Improv regular? How often do you swing by here?
Probably like once a year.
Once a year? Okay.
Yeah.
What about the club? Obviously, so many legends have played there. There's so many great comics from this area, from Dave Chappelle to Tony Woods, Martin Lawrence, Wanda Sykes. So many great ones have played here. But why do you, is it the history or is it just the venue itself, or why do you love it?
I just like DC. Got good crowds, smart crowds, good comedy crowds. It's like you said, a city with a history of comedy. So the crowds are savvy and fun, and the DC Improv is just like a historic place to do comedy in the city. So I think they know how to treat comics. It's a great venue, and I think people know to go there to see good comedy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And where do we fall on like the tour versus recording stand-up specials? We're not going to be taping anything here, or are we working any jokes out, any material that's leading up to something that's about to be taped, or where do we fall on the
I think
circuit,
you're
if you
always
will?
kind of working on it,
Yeah.
so I'm sure there'll be jokes that I do there that find their way into a special. I'm not specifically working towards any particular date right
Yeah.
now, but I think you're just always on the road, kind of working the act.
Basically, the answer to that question is every stand-up set is preparing for the next thing. What are you talking about,
Yeah.
Jason? Come on, get with it. Um, but it is a legendary spot. You got to come to DC Improv. But I got to say, you're visiting DC at a interesting time. Like
hmm
with world events and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I never want to veer too off politically more than the guest is comfortable. But let me just say, are you worried the National Guard's going to come in and shut down the show?
No,
We've
I'm
never had this in
not.
our streets. It's
I don't
insane. It's
know, but
insane.
it is going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely is going to feel different than any other time I've been to DC. And I don't think it's something that you can't speak about because it's current and happening kind of live in your face. But
Do you mix it into
um,
the routine? Like there's armed guards marching through the streets. This is not normal, as you know from past trips to
I
the
think
improv.
I have to see it to know. I haven't experienced it yet.
Yeah. And if you stop by any of our famous museums, Smithsonian's and stuff, some of the history is being taken out of it. So it's a weird time to come. I'm telling you. But you're gonna help keep them honest and keep us laughing. That's what you're gonna do. I hope.
That's the hope. That's the hope and the goal.
Is it a time where comics are, not just you, but other comics are hesitant to still play DC, or are you just gonna get in, get out, do your thing, and really don't think about it too much?
I really haven't thought about it too much. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I'm just gonna come and do a good show that I always do when I'm there. I'm excited about it. I always like playing DC, so
yeah,
that hasn't like turned me off from the idea.
right. It could be Chicago and other towns soon anyway. So just keep doing this. The comedy is we need we
Yeah,
need we
yeah,
need you more than ever. And the main thing is to have everyone laughing, no matter their political stripes. Listen to this. Hopefully they come out and
yeah,
get
for
their
sure.
laugh on. Well, I've been talking a lot about DC, but I want to talk about your stomping grounds a little bit. So you were born in Atlanta, right, in '82, but you didn't really grow up there. You mostly grew up in Boston. Is
No,
that right?
yeah,
Okay, okay. So what was your favorite comedians, or even as a kid, maybe comedy movies? Like I want to know your touchstones growing up in Boston. What were you watching and realizing like, oh, I might do this one day?
I don't know that I was like that young realizing I might do this one day, but I was watching when my parents were watching. They were watching like Taxi and Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like George Carlin and Pryor and Eddie Murphy and Marsha Warfield and like Paula Poundstone. I was just watching what they were watching, when
Yeah.
I was that young. So that's like my early Bill Cosby, like that's like my early like exposure to comedy, I guess, and cartoons, like Looney Tunes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
All the greats. And when you
yeah.
mentioned Cosby Show, and I'm not going to take it in that direction, but rest in peace, Theo. That's all I want to say. Gordon
Oh yeah, that
Gartrell,
was
the
very
shirt was
sad.
hilarious episode.
Yeah, I mean that's just a classic TV show, a
Oh,
million great episodes.
I bet.
One of my favorite shows ever to exist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, growing up, it wasn't really a lot of like local guys, even though there was like a big local scene. But I was too young to really
Right.
know about like all the local guys that were like doing it back then.
Right.
Though like back then in the 80s and stuff, Boston was thriving when it came to comedy. It wasn't until I got like maybe high school, like late high school, early college years, they started
Okay.
like fucking with Dan Cook and like um watching like Best Week Ever and kind of getting exposed to Patrice through that. Though I really hadn't seen any of his stand up. I just liked Best Week Ever and I didn't even know he was from Boston until much later. So yeah, I think, my stand up taste kind of once I was in like high school and stuff, it was very like MTV generation, Beavis and
Yeah, of
Butthead, The
course.
State, stuff like that.
Right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Dane Cook. He called into this show, I don't know, a couple months ago. He was getting back out on the road, and we were just still cracking up about those bits, going through the drive
Hmm.
through and, with the pickles and welcome to Burger King. Like,
Yeah.
it was hilarious. Well, great. So it sounds like you grew up on all the good stuff. um, all right. So then when do you say that's when you started taking it a little more serious, like, high school and that's shortly after, but when do you actually get out and start doing like open mics or anything like that?
I mean, I was just kind of living life. I tried it when I was like 20 something. I didn't really like how it felt. Moved to Atlanta, moved back to Atlanta, I guess you could say, since I was born there. Um, was just like going to school and trying different stuff, was working in music for a while, just trying to figure myself out and find myself. And then late 20s, I decided to try stand up again, went back home and just started doing mics.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, and then just kept getting up. And one thing led to another, led to another, led to another, led to another type of thing. And here I am.
I love it. Well, you're saying one thing led to another. Well, one of the big things it led to was you becoming a writer for several seasons at Saturday Night Live in New York. I guess you were there, what, 2017 to 2020? Is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like
Hmm.
that. Leading into COVID. It's your fault. You broke the world. 2017, 2020-ish, somewhere around there. And
Yeah.
I remember you did the Black Jeopardy with Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace.
Hmm.
Memories of putting that together and the fact that we lost him shortly after that. None of us expected that. That was one of the big shockers, like that. And Robin Williams probably really
Yeah.
shocked me the most and really gutted me. But yeah, just in hindsight, like looking back on that, you just feel so special that you got to work with him.
No. I mean, I guess I feel like lucky, I don't know
Yeah.
about special, but it was a cool experience. Just to be on one of those iconic, that's an iconic SNL sketch that
Yeah.
existed way before I even got there.
Yeah.
So just to be able to work on it and it be that successful was really cool. You know what I mean? I think just one of my favorite things about SNL is just you can make something during the week, and then by Saturday, it's like in the culture,
Right.
like it's that you get that like immediate dopamine hit of things going right out into the world. And that one kind of had a big impact. So it was just cool to like be a part of something that like spread that fast. It was like, oh wow, you could get really kind of see like the power of the show. And he was just really cool and chill
Yeah.
to work with, which is always like the best host that are kind of just like down the clown and have a good time.
That's such a good point because how many other creative mediums can you get that instant dopamine rush like you're talking
Hmm.
about? If you're recording an album, it take months. Making a movie
Yeah.
sometimes takes years before it comes out. But writing for SNL, yes, I'm sure it's grueling to have to crank it out every week, but the instant, test it to the audience and either it works or doesn't. And if it really works,
Hmm.
lightning in a bottle, it's in the culture. So that's a great point. Other than Black Jeopardy with Keenan and everybody, what sketches that you worked on there come to mind as some of your favorites that you did work on?
Probably like John Mulaney, Cha Cha Slide, Adam Driver, the Vermont sketch. That was fun. Um, hmm. That's all that pops out right now
They
at
all
the
run
top of my
together, probably,
mind.
right?
Yeah, it's so many.
Yeah,
You're like doing it every week,
yeah,
and then sometimes you're
yeah,
jumping on
yeah.
stuff with people and like helping out. So,
Yeah. Well, it's same as whenever people are like, "Who's the favorite person you ever interviewed?" I always draw a blank because it's like, I don't know. There's 1,000. Let my
yeah,
brain defrag for a second and pull an answer,
right.
and that's like me asking you a favorite sketch. But how about cast members across all the sketches? Like consistently would break you up, or maybe you'd write something, or watch one of your co-writers write something, or which cast member did you always know was going to hit it out of the park?
I mean, I think everybody knows the answer to that is Keenan Thompson.
Yeah,
That's just like that is like you want the sketch to work, put Keenan in it.
yeah,
But 80 Bryan too. I really love 80. I just think she's so funny, and I just feel like she always gave it her all and always like really went for it,
yeah.
even if it was something that was a little like weird or like uncomfortable. I just think 80
Yeah.
is like a rock star for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I interviewed Kel via Zoom like this one time, but Keenan I only spoke with once on the red carpet at, I guess, Kennedy Center Honors one time. He was there to pay tribute to someone else. And I asked him about the Knuckle Puck. Do you remember Mighty Ducks?
Of course, of course. Who could forget Mighty Ducks?
Yeah,
D2.
D2. Arguably better than the first one, although I love it.
Part two. First one was
Part
good, but
First
D2
one I
is the
love.
one.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And I should say, not only are you making us laugh, but you're also making a little bit of history. And I don't know how much you want to dwell on it. You're just living your life writing stuff, but you were, I believe, the history books will show in hindsight, first Black lesbian writer ever in SNL, right? I mean, Denitra Vance was in the cast earlier as a cast member, but is that true?
Mhm.
Will you forever hold that title? Are you proud of it, or is it just like you wouldn't say that to a straight dude? I'm just living my life.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I also don't know if that's true. Maybe I'm the first outrider.
Out. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe I'm the first time they really cared to ask.
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. So,
Society had moved along just enough that it was public.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not even sure how factual that is, but
Yeah.
I don't really like adhere to that kind of stuff too much. You know what I mean? Just
Just keep
glad that I got to do the job and I learned so much and I grew so much and I couldn't place a value on the experience at all. But as far as like those like,
first.
first
Yeah.
whatever's,
Yeah.
I don't really know that that means I did anything,
Right.
but it show up and was capable and competent and I'm sure I'm
Right.
not the first capable, competent lesbian to show up. So
Definitely not.
yeah,
Well, you're just funny. And if it inspires other people in different demographics, great. But just keep doing your thing. Keep doing your
I
thing.
appreciate that.
And I believe after SNL, was it 2018, you did your first recorded stand up comedy album? I mean, you mentioned, growing up listening to Dane Cook and all those greats, but Donna's Daughter, that was your first actually, right? Was it that?
Yeah, I feel like that was like right at the same time. I think I did it right before I got there, but it didn't come out until I was already working there.
Right.
But yeah, that was my first comedy album.
Right. That would have been while you were at SNL. Yeah.
Hmm.
28. Well, that was a big year because not only you put that out, but you did the Netflix specials, right? Comedy lineup
I
and
did
then
the
you
15, yep.
yeah, and then Comedy Central's Stand Up Presents. Um
30. Yeah,
so you were
yeah.
popping all over the place
A
in
little bit. I had a little moment.
you're still in that moment. We're riding
Yeah.
that wave of that moment. Do you again? This is probably going to be like it's all going to run together. But is there a specific bit in Donna's Daughter that you look back on if you ever play it back and cracks you up? You're like, that's some of my finest work.
Uh, I think I like all the stuff about the divorce. I thought that was pretty funny. It was very fresh for me.
Yeah,
And I think that was the first time I kind of had like done a personal
yeah,
story in that type of way.
yeah,
So that piece, that chunk always
yeah.
kind of stands out to me. Me yelling at my friend Marcus because he really gets on my nerves and he really was being annoying that night. So that was fun to keep that in the album and not like edit it out.
He was being annoying
Um,
during the live taping, and you
of
left it in
course.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, those are like the two pieces that really kind of like stick out.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't think the Mad Men joke made it to the album, so I can't say that joke. So I think those two.
but it made it into other live sets.
Yeah, it made it. It lived somewhere, but I think by the time I was on the album mode, I was like, I'm over that joke. It's
Google it,
somewhere.
YouTube
It's
it.
somewhere significant. I remember making sure I put it somewhere where you could get it. So it might be in my 30 or
Yeah,
it might be in my 15,
yeah.
but it's like somewhere where I would, because I love that joke so much. I was like, it's gotta live somewhere.
We
Uh,
teased it enough that after they get off there, they can Google Mad Men Sam J and it'll
yeah,
pop.
they should probably pull up
It'll pop
for
up.
sure.
All right. So then you also, I guess, 2020 was it right before COVID or maybe right during you do the Netflix special, 3 in the morning, and that was like a homecoming for you, right? Was it back in
Right
Atlanta?
before the world shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was it special to
Mhm.
be able to go back to Atlanta? I know you mostly grew up in Boston.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I lived in Atlanta for a long time. By the time I was in high school, I was coming back and forth here a lot because my brother had moved back here. My mother passed away, so I moved in with my brother, did a year of high school here. Then I went back home to Boston. Then I came back here and went to college and lived here for 8, 9 years of my life.
Yeah.
So Atlanta is always gonna feel like a second home to me, and I loved going back there to do it. It felt right. It felt full circle. It felt right. It felt warm. You know what I mean? It was kind of everything I wanted it to be. So it made the special even more special.
Yeah. Well, literally, Boston to Atlanta, it is warmer, but I know what you mean. You mean
Yeah,
it
yeah,
made the
yeah.
special more special. It's in the name.
Mhm.
All right, well, we're talking a lot about your, stand up on stage and on Netflix, but I want to pivot real quick into some of like the scripted comedy series you've done. I know you co-created and co-starred in HBO's Pause with Sam J,
Mhm.
21 to 2022, and then you also were co-creating co-star of the Peacock comedy series Bust Down. Um,
Mhm.
what was it like getting to stretch into that medium and getting to, I mean, I guess you've done SNL, but what was it like knowing you were going to act in it too?
Well, I mean, like, I guess with Pause, it was, different because it was my show, like I was leading the show. It was a late night show and I was the host. So it's like kind of all falls on me at the end of the day.
It's more of like a variety talk kind of a show. So that was a little more akin to SNL, a little bit, a little.
Yeah, yeah. And like having to kind of lead that room in a lot of ways. But I feel like the experience at SNL like really helped me be able to handle that situation and kind of went into it kind of with a clear mind on like what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then Bust Down
Bust
was
down.
just kind of like just silly fun. Like I made it with my friends, my closest friends, some of the funniest people I think on the planet. And we were just having fun trying to out joke each other at every turn and just trying to make the funniest thing we could make.
Right. Because that was
Um,
Chris Red. He was there at SNL when you were there. And then you went off and did Bust Down
Yeah, but
together.
I know Chris before that, and we had been working on Bust Down before we both got SNL. We had already kind of been in the process of writing Bust Down with Jack Knight and Langston Kerman.
Yeah.
And we were all just, really close friends, and we would hit the circuit together, and we would go to each other's shows in LA, and we were always with each other and popping up on each other wherever we could watch each other do stand up. We just really respected each other as stand ups and respected each other's funny, and so
Yeah.
that was just like a really fun time in my life where I just got to make something really funny with my best friends.
That's so awesome. And of course, Bust Down was I have to mention that it's set in Gary, Indiana. I mean, well, everyone
Yeah.
remembers the Music Man song and Home to the Jackson Five and all that stuff. But for my wife and I, it's gonna forever have a special place in our heart because we stopped there we did a trip out a couple months ago. We stopped in Gary, Indiana, and took our dog to the little the beach there, right there in Lake Michigan. And wouldn't you know, and our dog pooped in Lake Michigan.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all
it's all
good
good stuff.
stuff.
It felt like a sketch or something that you Sam J would have written or something. We were just walking through it the first time, dog's first time ever on a beach, and then a lifeguard comes up and goes, "Oh,"
Dang.
the lifeguard goes, "That life, you passed that lifeguard chair. That's the no dogs part. Can you go back?" We're like, "Sure, sure, sure." As soon as we turn back around, I look to my wife and say, "Now would be the worst time to let loose." And sure enough, floating away out in
Wow.
a
That's kind of
turd
awesome.
like Caddyshack. Anyway, Gary, Indiana, Bust Down. All right, well, before we go, I do have to mention You People, underrated original Netflix movie comedy directed by Kenya Barris
Mm,
of Blackish, of course. Jonah Hill,
hmm
Lauren London,
hmm
Lovebirds, interracial couple meeting each other's parents. I guess
Yeah.
what his parents are David Duchovny and Joy Louis Dreyfus, and hers are Eddie
Yes.
Murphy and Nia Long. I mean,
Yes.
just those are legends that you're getting to work with there. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredible and overwhelming for sure. I mean, that was my first movie, so it was just a lot. It was a lot going on. And I was just kind of on set every day, like, I hope I'm not ruining this movie because I'm the most inexperienced person here, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was just trying to stay in the pocket and do what they brought me in there to
Yeah.
do, you know?
Yeah. Well, the scene of you and Jonah Hill, relating your love lives to different Drake albums was
Oh,
memorable to me. Although now it might be Drake versus Kendrick albums that,
yeah,
after all
yeah.
that.
All the
Well,
stuff with Jonah was so fun. He was very, 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 very much a joy to work with, and I really appreciated his just like his patience, and
yeah,
he was just super chill. And it could have made something that was very like already overwhelming more
yeah,
overwhelming and intense if he was like hella intense with me.
yeah.
But like he was super chill and cool, and it allowed it to flow and feel like a real friendship because of how like chill he was being. So I'm always appreciative and will be appreciative of him
Very
for that.
versatile actor. I remember first seeing him in like 40-Year-Old Virgin trying to buy the shoes, and then
Yeah,
Super
I'm a
Bad and
big
Money, even
Jonah Hill
Moneyball, dramatic
fan.
side. He's great.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf
I'm
of
a
Wall
huge
Street.
Jonah Hill fan, like a big Jonah Hill fan.
Absolutely. Final seconds. You mentioned the phrase, you just tried to stay in the pocket. That's my segue to the roast of Tom Brady, quarterback.
Hmm.
Uh, hilarious moments. If I'm going to offer one critique, I thought it went on too long. It's like four
Oh, the
hours
roast
or something.
itself? Yeah. It was long.
Yeah. Do
That
you
was a
remember where?
long
I can't
live.
remember now. I should have looked this up before we hopped on. Do you remember where you were in the lineup? Were you towards the front or the
Mm,
back? I can't.
I was like fourth or fifth or something like
Yeah. So I'm
that.
saying,
Like
I
I was
remember.
like
So
right over there.
yeah,
Yeah,
by the time
something
you
in
went
that
on, I
game.
remember like this is funny. They're no holds barred. They are roasting this dude, and it couldn't happen to a better guy, as in Tom Brady, as he deserves this. Roast him all you want, and then I almost felt bad for the comedians that were stacked towards the end of the 4 hours because they were like, it almost sounded like they had some of the same jokes that you all already said. So anyway, that's my
That
nuanced
was a
take.
blur. Yeah, that whole thing was like, what is happening?
But overall, fun putting that roast together. I mean, sitting there and trying to come up with jokes for the Tom Brady, the great.
Yeah. It was my first roast, so
Yeah,
it was just a dope experience.
yeah,
And I was working with my homie Megan Gelly, who's a writer on Pause and super
yeah.
into sports, and my homeboy Radio Raheem, who's just a savant of sorts. It was just a little tight team, just us three kind of honing it in and really figuring out what we were gonna do and how we were gonna drive it home. And I really had fun with that one. It was overwhelming when
Yeah.
I got there and realized how big it was.
Yeah.
But the creative process was super
Yeah.
dope. And then the writers of the roast itself, just,
Yeah.
going over the jokes that we had come up with and just helping us get them tight and right. And it was just great. It was just cool. Just another one of those
Yeah.
comedy, like collective moments that
Yeah.
just it felt like the funniest people in a room just jamming out. And those are
Yeah.
always my favorite times.
Yeah, and Kevin Hart there moderating. It was a great lineup there on the day. So wait, you said something interesting. So peel back the curtain for our listeners a little bit. So how do these roasts work? You each bring your own, like you sit individually or with a writing partner, write your stand up set, and then you get in there, and then there's like a writing team that helps fine tune it.
Yeah, basically just tell you if you're bumping in onto some other people's jokes or you just,
Right.
what I mean? Like, because they're over the whole show, and they're
Yeah.
definitely helping the sports guys write their jokes, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they're gonna let you know like if you're running into somebody else's bit or
Right. Right.
you should steer away from that or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Was there a dig against Brady that either you or someone else said that busted you?
Oh,
It's been like a year or so now, right? So it's probably hard.
yeah. I'm like, that thing was such a blur. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it was all just going so like
Yeah.
it was just going. I was just in a swirl. It's like
Yeah.
I'm like, it's really Tom Brady. It's
Yeah.
really happening. You know what I mean? Kim Kardashian said right here, oh my God. Like I remember Nikki being funny. I
Nikki
remember really
Glazer.
liking her
Yeah.
stuff on Gronk.
Yeah.
I thought all that stuff was so funny. And then Drew was real funny too. Um, Everybody really kind of was killing it. I'm not gonna lie. Like all the comics really came with like solid
Yeah.
shit. It
But
was a super strong
when
roast.
Gronk spiked the shot glass, you didn't catch any shrapnel, did you? You're good.
No, I was fine. That was wild though,
Yeah.
but I was good. Yeah.
Well, how about Brady himself? It seemed like he was like trying to be a good sport for a while, and but some of them seemed to make him a little uncomfortable. I guess that's the
I
point of
mean,
a
that's the
roast.
point of roast. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say that's how a roast works, but I
Yeah.
think all around he was a good sport. And I thought his roast at the end was real strong. Like I was actually kind of shocked at how strong his roast was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's holding it. Him and Gronk, I thought did a good
Yeah.
job.
And his other teammate, who else was there? Edelman, maybe? I can't remember who else was there,
Oh
but
yeah, but I love Julian. I'm so
yeah.
partial to Julian. I'll say everything he does is great. But
Well, you grew up in Boston, so you're probably a
I did think
Patriots fan,
I'm
right?
a huge
You love
Patriots
those
fan.
guys, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
But yeah, I thought he did a great job.
and did they have writers helping them, or did they even come up? The teammates actually came up with some of the stuff.
I'm sure they worked on some of their own stuff. I'm sure it's pretty much the same process we had.
I guess being teammates, they probably had intel that a
Yeah,
writer's
yeah,
room wouldn't have on
for
its own,
sure.
and then they probably help finesse it into stand-up
Hmm.
style. All right. Awesome. Well, everyone watched it, no matter how long it was or where you were in the lineup, everybody saw your bit. So it's great exposure for Sam J. All right. Well, we'll let you run. We really, really appreciate you joining us.
Thank
Anything else
you.
you want to say about the DC improv shows? It's going to be September 5th and 6th. So 2
Yeah, that's
nights.
just Friday and Saturday, 2 shows each night, early and late. I don't want to lie about the times, but they're usually somewhere between 7 and somewhere between 9 and 9:30.
Yeah.
So pull up on me. I'll be there. It'll be a good time. I'm just fresh off of the Edinburgh Comedy Festival out in Scotland. So I've been out of the country for an entire month doing stand-up every day. So I got a lot to say. I got a lot of things on my mind. So I think it'll be a good time.
You said you have a lot on your mind. Like what areas in life, if there's a general way to tease it without spoiling the actual jokes?
I mean, I think this particular hour that I'm working on is very like politically driven, but more from like a what the hell is happening with us state
Yeah.
than a pointy finger, this is what's wrong with the president type
Right.
state. Just more of a bigger conversation about where we are as humanity and what the fuck are we gonna do?
What the F are we going to do is the best question. That should be the bumper sticker for the next election. We need your
Well,
comedy. Help us through it. Help us laugh. Because you can slip, in everyone thinks they're laughing at a joke. You can slip some truth and some medicine in there for us. You know
yeah,
what I
that's the
mean?
job. That's the job, I think, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Sam J here with Jason Fraley. It's been a J and J conversation. Everyone,
Good.
DC Improv, September 5th, 6th. Don't miss it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Peace.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.